Alright, so today I'm going to be reviewing one of my favorite drama comedy animes, Great Teacher Onizuka, based on the manga of the same name. Now, I love this anime. It's ridiculously funny, it's got great action, and it can be more dramatic than a wrestling match, and the soft tender moments really tug on your heartstrings. All the things that, in my opinion, make a great anime. There are so many moments where you just cheer for the characters as Onizuka teaches the students some sort of life lessons or performs some amazing feat of heroism. Car chases, fighting, love stories, and even morals are all par for the course in this anime. Truly an anime that should not be missed. The show is packed with anime and video game references too. Barely an episode goes by where they don't at least mention a game or anime. In one episode he gets some bowling balls glued to his hands, pretends he's Doraemon. And later in the episode he breaks the balls and pretends he's Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star. There's even a trio of Gundam nuts near the end. And my favorite reference is when Onizuka dresses up in a giant spider head thing from one of my favorite movies, The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, of course. Now, an anime like this is really all about the characters and how they interact with each other, so I'm going to just jump right in and with the show's namesake. Akichi Onizuka is a 22-year-old virgin, who is more than a little unorthodox. Onizuka is really one of the most lovable characters in anime. He's witty, charming, and he's a real man. He has a strict code of honor that really makes you respect him, and he's a total perv. So he still comes off as human. In fact, if he wasn't a perv, I think he would come off as some sort of teacher robot from the future. And he's a massive otaku. But I think his biggest character strength is his dedication to his students. He will stop at nothing to make sure they learn their lessons, even if he has to commit multiple felonies in the process. He has a great sense of justice and won't stand for any of his students being picked on. And he wears it all on his sleeve. He makes no apology for what he is. He's the kind of guy you can take at face value no matter what he says. He seems like the kind of guy you'd really want to have as a friend, because you definitely don't want him as an enemy. I had a teacher like him once. Before I met him, I didn't really give a damn about school, but he turned me around somehow. Now, I'm not going to lie and say he made me a straight-A student, but he did make me get my act together somewhat, and for that, I'll always be grateful to him. In fact, I've only ever had a few teachers that ever gave a damn about me. You know, Onizuka really reminds me of the big one, so I have some personal attachment to his character. One of my favorite things about Onizuka himself is his voice actor. He's voiced by none other than Spike Spiegel himself, Stephen J. Bloom. He's billed as David Lucas, which gave me a few doubts, but I did search it up on IMDb, and it was done by Stephen J. Bloom. For some reason he went under the name David Lucas, which I will admit is a better name, but it's not the first time a voice actor has gone under a pseudonym. Hell, even Cam Clark has done it, who anyone from my era would recognize as the voice of Leonardo from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. When he did Metal Gear Solid, the guild he was a part of wouldn't let him do it because video game voice acting was thought of as some kind of ghetto for voice acting. So he went under the name James Flinders. And he really was one of the strong voice actors in that game. The game just had an amazing voice cast. Somewhere between the original and the remake, though, for GameCube, video game voice acting became legit in their eyes, and in the subsequent GameCube remake, he was billed as Cam Clark again. I guess it just took a few more Final Fantasy games to legitimize it. See? Entertaining and educational. There really are too many characters for me to go over them all, but I will go over the prime love interest of Onizuka. Fuyutsuki is a constant love interest, and voiced by Wendy Lee. If you don't know who she is, well, she's probably more prominent of a voice actress than Stephen Bloom. She did the voice of Faye Valentine in Cowboy Bebop. Now, if that doesn't ring any bells, you should just leave. Although the character is a 180-degree turn around from Faye Valentine, so Steve Bloom and Wendy Lee are working together again, and in this, it really shows. And the voice of Jet, Bo Billingsley, even makes a few appearances here and there. All we need is the voice of Ed making a few appearances. We'd have a big old reunion. In fact, the voice acting is really great overall. All the voice acting is really great for just about every character. Now for the plot. Onizuka is basically a ne'er-do-well who is just content to coast through life until he sees a young high school girl jump in the arms of her boyfriend, who happens to be a middle-aged, fat, balding teacher. He likes the idea of having young girls fawning over him, so he decides to become a teacher. He goes to a teacher college or something, because it doesn't take the 4 years that it normally does, and gets his teaching degree. But he thinks he's got his teaching position in the bag, so he doesn't go to his final public teaching exam. So he has to get a job at a private school. After German suplexing the vice principal to save the man's life and realizing he just screwed himself out of his only job, he mopes in the cafeteria and later finds out the cafeteria lady was actually the principal of the school. She hires him based on his views on teaching and his strength. She puts him in charge of the most misbehaved class in the school, and he's housed on the roof of the school to make sure he can catch and watch everything. On his first night, he sees a student about to jump off the roof of the school, and he dives to save him, earning the trust and respect of the student, and thus begins his long-hill struggle of becoming the greatest teacher Japan has ever seen. Despite the principal, who he body slammed, doing everything in his power to discredit, fire, and humiliate him, and the students who are all messed up in some way trying to do the same, he slowly all makes them his friends and turns them over to his side. I think that's enough for you to go on for now. The animation is really good too. Not the greatest I've ever seen, but this kind of anime doesn't need flashy over-the-top visuals or fantastic fluid animation. The colors and characters are all bright, vibrant, and well animated, and with this type of anime you really couldn't ask for more. It really looks great. And the first opening animation is really something to behold. It uses a song by a band called Lark and Seal. If you're an anime or even Japanese pop culture, you've more than likely heard of them. But the animation in that scene is really something to behold. There's actually one of the few animes that I actually watch the opening to. Most of the time I get annoyed with hearing the same song and animation every 25 minutes and skip past it. But this one is so stylish that I just love watching it. Same with the second opening, which uses a song by Porno Graffiti. Check it out if just for the opening. It also clocks in a mere 43 episodes, long enough to build some really good character and plot development, but still short enough to not break the bank or to lose interest in the story. Another nice thing is that the individual story arcs never take more than a few episodes. I think the longest arc was maybe 5 episodes, 6. More than digestible in small chunks for anybody who has a short attention span like me. In the end, it really makes you wish that there were more teachers like him in the world. Onizuka is really the entire draw of the anime. Not to say that there aren't other great characters in it, but he really outshines them all. So for all those reasons and what have you, I'm going to have to give it a, let's see, a 9. Yeah, 9 out of 10. I really think it's that good. If I gave it anything less, then I would be lying to myself, and Onizuka taught me never to lie to myself. And I approve of any character where a character's Johnson gets bit by a snake. Not once, but twice. So that's my review of GTO, or Great Teacher Onizuka. So until next time, have a nice fucking day.